There's only so many times I want to read a statement by Melanie Joly or Justin Trudeau responding to some terrorist incident against a Jewish school or a Jewish synagogue where they say, this isn't Canada. Well, yeah, actually it is. After 14 months of the largest anti-Semitic crime wave in Canadian history, I think it's safe to say this is Canada. I refer, of course, to the firebombing, the arson attack on a Montreal area synagogue called Beth Tikva early this morning. An attack on the synagogue happened the second time this particular synagogue has been targeted. Joining us now live on location is our friend Alexa Lavoie, who has been at this synagogue before for the same reason. Alexa, thank you for making the journey there. It looks frightfully cold. You're standing outside the Beth Tikva. Tell me what you see. Tell me who's there. Tell me the kind of damage that's visible, and tell me if anything is known yet.
So for now, we don't really know who committed the crime. I know there is a ongoing investigation by the SPVM. Behind me, I don't know if you can see, they are currently replacing the window of the facade of the synagogue. It's not only Beth Tikva who was targeted, but also the Sija building, the other side of the street, where a window was smashed also. What we know is the incident happened a little bit before 3 a.m. The SPVM say that it was an incendiary device that they found with broken glasses. And some witnesses say that they saw someone fleeing the scene early after the incident. So we don't know much yet. I didn't speak with nobody. I know that the SPVM is on the scene, but later on, I'm going to speak with the president of Beth Tikva, Karen Ritter. She's coming to meet me, and we will have a full interview coming up on rebelnews.com.
Well, thank you very much for doing that, and I'm glad they're speaking with you. This has happened across the country. It happens so much that it doesn't even make the news on many occasions. Let me give you an example. Here in Toronto, a large Jewish day school had a massive arson attack, and police refused to call it arson. They said it was an accidental fire in a shed. There was an arson attack on Jewish school buses, and police again refused to say it was arson, as if these school buses suddenly spontaneously combusted. I'm guessing this is just too big to sweep under the carpet. I think I saw the Montreal Gazette and CTV cover it. Has this been covered widely in the Quebec media besides the Gazette and CTV?
I know that CBC is currently on the scene, Radio-Canada, for the French viewer. But also you need to understand that Beth Tikva is not only a synagogue, is also annexed to a Jewish school. So it's probably why there is way more coverage for this. And also because it's the second attack. In November 2023, Beth Tikva was also the victim of a Molotov cocktail. And so the fact that this place had been victim twice make it like a vulnerable area for the Jewish community.
You know, it's tragic. This is the new normal. And I see Melanie Joly putting out a perfunctory statement. She's not even trying anymore. I want to tell you, I went to Paris almost 10 years ago, Alexa, after the terrorist attack on the Bataclan, which was a concert venue that terrorists attacked and killed an enormous number of people. And there had been anti-Semitic attacks around the city. I went to a Jewish grocery store, and outside the grocery store was a French paramilitary police officer with a very serious semi-automatic weapon. Like it was more than an ordinary policeman might have. It was almost something you'd expect a soldier to have. And at various Jewish locations in Paris, you had permanently stationed, heavily armed police, not only as a visual deterrent, but for safety. I get the feeling we're almost at that point. I mean, how many times can the same synagogue be attacked before we station a police officer outside them? I don't know what else to do. I think I see behind you. I'm not sure if that's a security camera. I'm sure there's security cameras at this place, but those aren't really a deterrent if someone is wearing a mask. And at most, they record what happened after the fact. They don't stop it in real time. What do you think can be done? Do you have any ideas, or maybe we have to wait to know a little bit more? But I think this is to the point of being ridiculous now. I mean, there's got to have been 50 of these attacks over the last year.
Well, first of all, they have already their private security over here to survey the area. They have already also some SPVM doing some surveillance. So what's next? I think the next step is to enforce the law, to everybody who are spreading hate speech and hate rhetoric in our street. Make sure that the law is applied. Make sure that those people, when they got caught, they have a harsh repercussion, harsh condemnation, and they go to jail, not just like going to jail and watch Netflix or having like a really weak sentence. Law needs to be applied, and for now, they know they will get away with it. It's why we are seeing those kind of crime being perpetrated against Jewish schools, Jewish businesses. We have a recently death threat being made towards a Jewish business downtown. So it doesn't stop. It's because the inaction of the SPVM by arresting those individuals, by condemning, by charging them, prosecuting them properly, make them emboldened to commit more crime.
I think you're right. And just for our viewers who don't know, SPVM is the acronym for the Montreal Police Service. It's, I think, Service Police Ville-Marie, if I'm not mistaken, or Ville-Montreal. You correct me if I'm wrong on there. Not Ville-Marie, Ville-Montreal.
Ville-Montreal.
Ville-Montreal, thank you. So SPVM is Montreal Police. I think you're so right. Let me expand on what you said. A few weeks ago, there were actual riots, a full-out riot in Montreal, and I think only 3 arrests were made the entire night. So what message does that send to the rioters? And you have huge mobs in Montreal blocking the streets, committing all sorts of smaller crimes, from mischief to vandalism to trespass to more serious things like uttering threats. And if there's no consequences to that, well, how is it surprising that a few of those people then become emboldened to actually attack a Jewish synagogue at 3 a.m.? So I think you're right. I think it's not just how do we protect this synagogue from being attacked again. It's we have to change the culture of permissibility that Trudeau and Joly and Valérie Plante, the mayor, and others have allowed to grow. I think they could crack down on this anti-Semitic crime wave in a week if they wanted to. They don't want to. As Jolie said, it's because of the domestic demographic situation in her riding. Did you hear about that, what Mélanie Joly said? I think she said it to Thomas Mulcair. She explained that her foreign policy is in part because there are so many Muslim immigrants in her district. I mean, I think that she's just admitting the whole thing.
She's admitting that they are opening our door to some people who carry with them an anti-Jewish sentiment. It's all they are. They need to integrate, but they don't want to integrate. And now we see our Jewish community being victim of those hate crime. And what would be next? Do they are waiting that someone get hurt for real?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like a child testing the boundaries. We see that in Toronto also. The pro-Hamas side literally has terrorist reenactments on the street in a Jewish neighborhood, and they haven't found the limits yet. Like a child testing, seeing what they can get away with. The answer in Canada so far is you can get away with anything. Well, Alexa, thank you for making the journey there. I know you have the interview with the synagogue president lined up. I'll be very interested to see that. And I am depressed about the state of affairs in Canada. To me, this will only get worse until we end mass immigration and until we start to vet immigration for cultural fit. Without knowing who the suspects are, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that it's some of the millions of people we have brought to Canada in recent years from countries that are endemically anti-Semitic. And don't be surprised if you bring over millions of people from countries like Syria or Afghanistan or Somalia, that you're going to have some people who hate Jews, and then they look to Trudeau and Joly for moral guidance, and they say, oh, it's safe to take a shot at the Jews. I'm depressed, but I'm glad you're covering it. Thank you for being there, Alexa.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Alexa Lavoie on location at the Beth Tikva Synagogue. She'll have her report with the president of the synagogue later. Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. Members get instant access to all of our shows, invitations to exclusive events, and access to our premium content like live event footage and documentaries you won't see anywhere else. Only Rebel News Plus members can join the conversation by participating in the comments section of our new website. That way you can have your say too. More than anything, though, you'll be able to take pride in supporting real, honest journalism, and you'll help our talented team continue to do the work to push back on the establishment. We really can use your help. We need it, in fact. So thank you, and enjoy Rebel News Plus.